No grapevine tonight, so we can put a ribbon around our 12 in 2012 series with a look at some of the other potential candidates who could possibly play a part in deciding who will be on the ballot 23 months from now. We've profiled 12 potential candidates, and there are still more. In no particular order, Texas Governor Rick Perry. He took over as governor in 2000 after George W. Bush left to become president. Perry is now the longest-serving Texas chief executive in history at 10 years and counting, following his re-election 2 weeks ago.
I am not interested in being the president of the United States. As a matter of fact, I hope someone will stand up and say, elect me president of the United States.
Perry is one of the country's most high-profile governors, and because of that, has been tasked to run the Republican Governors Association. His job is to keep all 29 Republican executives on message to try to pick up more seats in 2012.
Rick Perry, I think, has taken himself out of the running for 2012 because he's going to be head of the Republican Governors Association, and I don't see how he does that and at the same time runs for president.
Rick Santorum, the former Pennsylvania senator who lost his re-election bid to Democrat Bob Casey in 2006, has not done much to squash rumors that he's considering a run, including frequent trips to Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina, and cozying up to the Tea Party.
This is a movement not around a person, but on a set of principles, on first principles of our democracy.
Santorum, currently a Fox News contributor, was number 3 in the Republican Senate minority and is considered a staunch social and fiscal conservative. But analysts say losing that 2006 election by 18 points leaves a mark.
While party voters certainly want somebody they agree with, they also want somebody who can win, and it's going to be difficult for him to convince people he can win.
Bob McDonnell. Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell is most popular for running an economic, jobs-based campaign and crushing his Democratic opponent at the polls last year, putting the GOP back in power in the Commonwealth, seen as a critical swing state and possible 2012 bellwether.
I think there's a growing wave, not only in Virginia, but in America, of people that are just very concerned about what's going on in our nation.
McDonnell is a former Army lieutenant colonel and state attorney general. He's made headlines by restricting state funding for abortion and challenging the constitutionality of the Obama health care law. Virginia prohibits McDonnell from running for a consecutive term in 2014, so
I can see him being someone who would like to be the number 2 on a Republican ticket. I can't see him as someone who has the resources or the ability right now to mount a presidential bid.
Dr. Ron Paul!
Perhaps the most excitement in the second tier of candidates revolves around 2008 Republican presidential candidate Ron Paul, who first ran in 1988 as part of the Libertarian Party.
Personal liberty is the purpose of government, to protect liberty, not to run your personal lives.
The Texas congressman's central message that has sparked a very loyal following revolves around limiting the size and scope of the government. Analysts credit Paul with being a protest candidate long before it was popular.
He gets a lot of support from young people. There are certain elements in the Republican Party that like him. Many of them now are part of the Tea Party.
He was kind of for the Tea Party before there was a Tea Party. Now that that's happened, where does it leave Ron Paul?
Mr. Mayor.
Former New York mayor and 2008 presidential candidate Rudy Giuliani has in recent months brushed off questions about another run, but he's also said the door is not closed. He made the rounds on television after the big midterm election Republican wave.
And I hope the president understands what people are saying to him.
However, the same issues he dealt with in 2007 and 2008 still exist.
He is the pro-choice mayor, and I can't imagine that his bid for the nomination would be much different than it was last time.
Gary Johnson is a name not often recognized outside Libertarian and some Republican circles.
Now, he had 2 terms as governor of New Mexico, which is a swing state, but that was a long time ago.
Johnson, like Paul, would be a Libertarian Republican if he ran in the GOP field. He refused to raise taxes, was an advocate of decriminalizing marijuana, and was not afraid to use his veto power. Former New York Governor George Pataki has said he's not running for president, but he's also said he's not running for Senate in 2012. Yet his name continues to surface for both. Former United Nations Ambassador John Bolton, a Fox News contributor, refuses himself to rule out a run, saying he's flattered people think he could be mounting a challenge, which would definitely highlight national security issues. And then there's Donald Trump, who certainly has deep pockets if he wanted to throw his hat into the ring.
It could be fun because I'd like to see some positive things happen for the country. Well, I'm going to make a decision probably by June.
While most political analysts say these candidates or even others could possibly run, if they had to bet, they'd put their chips on one of our 12 and 2012 potentials becoming the next Republican nominee.